professional. Hello. 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 Morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to Wednesday. Harand, hello. Greco, hello. Connor, Julian, AC, hello, hello, hello. We're here, we're doing it. It's all go, it's all happening. MSAA, gonna do it. We're gonna bash it out today. It's gonna work. We're gonna have beautifully, slightly blurred edges. Ensar, hello. I did a small amount of research prior to this, and by prior to this I mean 30 minutes ago. I think I can't remember what code I wrote on Sunday. All I know is that it didn't work. However, I think I know the runes that I now need to make this work, so we will cast those and see what we summon. But it should be good fun. It should be good fun. Give people a few seconds. I prepare myself. We are manually MSAAing, so we need to create multi-sampled frame buffers. And then blit someone mentioned this last time and I didn't have time to do it because the whole frame buffer thing was set up incorrectly. But then we need to blit that to a single sampled frame buffer and then do the post-processing effects from there. I started messing around with doing it on with the wiggle stuff, but it didn't work. So I think we'll just do it. We'll do it the hard way. Let's get some code up. Okay, so I think one of the things we started doing was I got a little bit tied up with different concepts where I thought I needed a render buffer object, but I still want to use it with textures, so it's simpler, as in the code is simpler, and then it's easier to sample them. Although we will blit it to a single sample frame buffer. I think I'm using the right words. I don't want to introduce render buffers objects. Like, I know there's potentially more performance, but I think it's just going to it's just a little bit more complexity that I feel like is an optimization we can add later. I'd rather just get it functioning now. Yes, okay, that's good to know. So we had the named frame buffered render buffer. I think all this needs to go away. I think what I need actually is, so from my reading, and I'm happy to be wrong, the depth buffer also needs to be multi-sampled. I don't know if that is correct, but everything I looked at had both a multi-sampled color and depth buffer, and I don't know if you can mix and match those or if it makes any difference, but I think this API here is going to have to change basically, and we're going to pass in like a number of samples, and then it will either create a single sampled or a multi-sampled one, I think. So let's see if we can find Hazaby, resub for 6 months. Thank you very much. Hope you're still enjoying it. Let's do that now because we're going to want, basically we want to be able to create frame buffers with either multi-samples or single sampled, which means we're going to need to change that API, which means we're going to need to change this particular texture API. So I think this one here if we have stood at uint8t samples, then have in here stood uint samples, then we can just basically make this logic just a little bit more grim, but it's not too bad. So if samples equals 1, else, ooh, that's a pretty egregious typo. Okay. Huckley, hello. Sunk cost fallacy. Yes, if there's one way to describe this project, it is definitely the sunk cost fallacy. Yes, let's do that. So that would be a bug on the caller. So that can just be, and we could just as expect that samples is greater than 0. Cannot have 0 samples. Because I don't want to widen the contract, so we'll keep that as a narrow contract because it's a bug in the caller if they ask for the right number of samples. But we, as a courtesy, we will check it for them in debug. Do I play any games? I played a few games recently when I got my new PC to try it out. So I was playing. I tried the Battlefield latest demo, which I was terrible at. I played a bit of Blob 6, which I was terrible at. I've been playing a bit of I was playing a bit of Factorio recently, which I'm terrible at. But at the moment, I'm halfway through editing the next video, and I've already started musing on the next project. So I kind of don't really have a huge amount of free time at the moment. Great insight from Harand there. I am tempted to try to. So my issue is like, world, hello, right. Paolo, hello. I've got to get me pleasantries out of the way. I would. I would like to do a stream, like a gameplay stream. My concern is that I don't have a huge amount of time to stream, and I really want to get this project done. So I'm kind of concerned that it is. I don't want to say streaming is easy, but I would say streaming me playing Factorio is easier than me streaming writing C++ for me. And so I'd be worried it'd be tempting to then just keep doing that. So then I feel that's a bit of a trap people can fall into. So I don't know, maybe at some point. Can I have... I bet I need to do this as well. Is it texture storage 2D, texture levels, internal format? It doesn't have this at the end. And I think this, I can't remember what this is, but I think it needs to be true. Yes, if you've got resources, I put it to Discord because I think I have links disabled, as you can hopefully understand. Also, I've seen the bug before anyone says it. I have seen it. Texture storage 2D, multi-sample, and this should be samples. So this 8 should be samples. This needs to have a. It's a little bit grimness, but I think it might just be what it. I think just be what it be. I mean, the video won't be, if you're talking about the video I'm editing, it will not be done tomorrow, but I'm hoping by the end of the week. Okay, so it's a little bit grim. I feel like it probably could be tied up a little bit, but for now, it's... it. Do I tidy up now? Because it's separate functions, really. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so then when we go to the frame buffer, we also need to have a uint 8t samples. And then back into frame buffer land. What's this when it's at home? Stood uint 8t samples. We'll bring in I think it's just error.h, isn't it? Is it, do they call it errors? Or is it in utils now? It is. I like the use of the anonymous namespace because it signals to me that it's something outside of what I wrote, and it automatically triggers the autocomplete as well. So, but yeah, it's not for everyone, and it doesn't have to be. Samples. Okay, let's pass those through. Yes, I don't know why it would. It might. Is it Twitch or Nightbot? I guess it's Twitch. Okay, right. So now I look at what was I looking up earlier? So create the textures, make them multi-sampled, create frame buffer, and then I think I just do get rid of this nonsense, then this just becomes geocolor attachment 0 with the color texture. I think that's all I need then. Is that right? I feel like I feel like I'm missing something. Wasn't there like a Peniel? Careful how I say that. Hello. Yeah, Nightbot claims its first victim. But there's also, so there is actually what I need now is GL check named frame status. This is what we want. Every now and then in OpenGL. So OpenGL has like a debug handler that you register. So if there's any errors, it reports to that. So it means you don't have to check all the return types. It's quite nice. Every now and then, so for the shaders and for this, there's like, there is a function that you do actually need to call. Check, and this checks the completeness. The completeness of the frame buffer. Because we all want a complete frame buffer. Absolutely useless to no one to have an incomplete frame buffer. GL check named frame buffer status. That's cool. Sounds cool. We'll definitely post it in the project showcase over at Discord. Okay, so at the end of this, I want to do what was this return? Have I goofed? Check name. Well, good spot. Glad someone's paying attention because I am not. Okay. Specify the target which specify the name of the frame buffer. Excuse me. Return the completeness status of frame buffer when treated as a read or draw buffer, depending on the value of target. Which must be draw, read. The return value is complete. Otherwise, the return value is determined as one of these. If I GL check named frame buffer status. That's right, though, is it? Are we happy that's right? So if so actually, I probably just want to just expect GL check named buffer status handle, and I want to pass in GL frame buffer. Frame buffer is not complete. Okay. I think that might be all we need. Jason, hello. Okay, let's give that a go. So this should... I don't think this will run, but it might run further than we got last time because it will try and sample from it, which it won't be able to. Oh, good. Yes, good point. Equals. It's been a long day today. I couldn't have said it better myself. Yes, this is what I was expecting. So where do we create our frame buffers? let's plumb this in properly. Let's just remind ourselves what we do. So we have a single frame buffer that we render everything to, and then we ping pong between those for the post-processing effects. I think so. We render the scene here, we render the skybox, render all the entities, and then obviously I didn't want any of this. Oh, I turned all the post-processing effects off. That's right. So let's... yes, I'm saving skeletal animations for the next project. So we basically need a multi-sampled buffer to render everything to, and then we need 2 post-processing buffers to ping pong between, because we iteratively render from one, read to it, and then we need the final blit to the frame buffer, which I think is fine there. So what I'm going to suggest we do is open up the renderer and just create more frame buffers. So let's call this like the main frame buffer, and then this will be the post processing frame buffer 1. Oh, what a great name that is. Someone was just complaining about my long variable names, so that was for you. That. Processing frame buffer 1, so that will be 2. That will have 1 sample, and that will have, excuse me, 1 sample. Then what? Hello? Where's that come from? Prior to that, we will have putting some extra commas there. Don't need those. Main frame buffer, and that will have, I don't know, 8. So we should pass that in some sort of config, but for now, let's just see if we can get 8 samples going. You want descriptive variable names? Indeed, I would agree. If I'm being pragmatic with my engineering hat on, the correct case is whatever the project already uses. However, my personal opinion is state cases is the one. But that's just me being boring. So let's bind that. And then this becomes main, and then we will steal this code here. And then we'll blit. I'm going to get this the wrong way around, aren't I? GL blit frame buffer. GL named frame buffer. So I want to read from main frame buffer into the first processing buffer. And then this will be x0, x0. They're all the same size, so it shouldn't matter, but we'll Does Civis, I'm unaware of what you're referring to, I'm sorry. I'm glad you're enjoying learning C and C++. But underscore T is reserved by the POSIX platform, so can't be using that. The underscore because they're member variables of the class. That's just a personal preference of mine to distinguish them. It's neither right nor wrong. Are they given 1? Are they given 1 has 8 times the samples? I think so, because the samples doesn't change the resolution of the texture. It just changes the amount of sampling it will take when it renders the polygons. Well, when it does the fragment shader. Let's just go for broke. It's either going to work or it's not. Okay, so going back to our rendering code now, we bind the main frame buffer, which is multi-sampled. We clear everything out of that. Get it out of here. We bind our, oh, no, start writing random characters. Oh, good. Oh, NVIDIA driver update. Let's hope that doesn't decide to just randomly start going. Bind the uniforms, bind the light buffers, bind all the gubbins, draw the skybox, draw the scene, draw any debug lines, unbind the main buffer, copy that over to the first of the post-processing frame buffers, which effectively flattens the samples from 8 to 1. I don't know if that's the correct term, but we go from an 8 sampled buffer to a buffer with 1 sample. We then ping pong between the frame buffers, applying each of the post-processing effects that we have enabled, so HDR, grayscale, and blur. We then, over the top of that, render all the labels because the UI is just slapped on top of everything after it's all said and done. And then we blit what should always be FB1. I think that's wrong. Are you guaranteed that the first processing buffer will always have the final image in it? I'm sure we went through and proved all this out, but because we swap, it should be the read buffer, because we always do a swap at the end, so the write buffer would now be the read. Yes, it should be the read buffer. I'm surprised that worked. I even remember like going through this live and like trying to prove it out. Be like, yes, this is what we want. Okay, so that then blitz it to the back buffer, and then something window swap, something magic. Let's go. But yeah, Quicker, maybe you're right. But yeah. Okay, hit me with your syntax. Whilst we wait for this to compile. Is it? I think it is. I think it's multi-sampling. I don't think it's got a harsh edge. No, it's definitely slightly blurred. Well, technically, well, it's technically AA because it's anti-aliased. Oh, ignore the seam in the. Oh, we probably don't want it on the skybox, do we? Because now we're going to get the horrible seam in the sky. Oh god, everything's so complicated. It's definitely doing something because that horrible seam in the sky wasn't there before. I picked up saying blend instead of compile from an old from a previous line manager I had, so you just everyone is just a function of their kind of upbringing. I'm gonna say that's dumb because we have that horrible sky. However, what we can do is we go to where we create these and just change this to one sample, that should effectively undo it. Okay, Sorry, hand. Yes, I kind of missed that. Something about an arrow and a pointer, and I got distracted by blurry lines. Yeah, it's definitely got that jagged edge. I can see it. Oh, maybe I've always just had the horrible seam in the sky. No, surely not. Sure, I would have noticed that before. Nightbot is really ruining everyone's fun today. What was you typing? Oh, man, what am I gonna do about this? Any suggestions? I guess just like hope everyone stays inside and doesn't look at the sky. Can you see it through the window? Oh, you can see it through the window. God damn it. Is the issue I bet this needs a sample count as well. Enjoy. Good luck. I'm trying to, without... I'm not sure... Do you mean dot or comma? Because that you could, I mean, I hope your language has the comma operator because C++ has it, and it sure is a minefield waiting to happen that. And never forget, you can overload the comma operator in C++. Do you have pointer to member syntax, like, you know, the obscure C++ thing where you can effectively abstract away the thing you're pointing to, the arrow dot star? Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. CPP ref is down, and oh no, it's back. Okay. Yeah, here. Any of you can overload any of these, including the comma and what I was talking to earlier, the pointer to member syntax as well. That's a fun obscure one. Yeah, you can overload that if you need to. I think it says somewhere here like don't. The comma operator. Rarely overloaded operators. The comma operator, because this operator may be overloaded generally. Some weird boost stuff he uses in. But yeah, by and large, don't. Member access, there you go. The member access through pointer to member operator. So yeah, fun. What I was saying is, do you need this operator? In which case, you might still need the arrow operator. It's the pointer to member operator. So where's the member access through pointer? There you go. The member access through pointer to member operator. You've not used that one before, so I'll find an example of it. You can, what would you use it for? You basically, you can store a pointer to a member, and then you can basically abstract what you're pointing to. Is this a good example? So you have to type def all this nonsense, and then you basically PMD, whatever that is, stores the member that you want to point to. So you can basically say, I want to point to something, and then you can have effectively the thing you point to be itself a pointer. So if you had, this is not particularly a good example, but if you had multiple members, you could change which one of these PMD pointed to, and then via that change which one you are accessing. Every day is a school day. It's one of those things where, like, it's kind of like stud launder. Like, if you need it, you know it exists, but otherwise you don't need. And if you don't know it exists, then you probably don't need it. Again, it's. I can't think of a real off the top of my head. It's I think I might have only ever used it once. So I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but I know it exists. And you have to be careful with overloading the arrow operator. Right, you've got me on a side track now. I don't even know if it says it in here, but if you overload the arrow operator, there is a special rule in the language that says if the thing that you're returning to also has an arrow operator, it will implicitly call that operator, and so on and so forth till it gets to something that's not a pointer. So it will drill down all the arrows until it finds something that's not a pointer or doesn't have that operator overloaded. So there's special compiler magic that happens only with this operator. Just actually say that in here. The overload of operator arrow must either return a raw pointer or return an object for which the operator is in turn overloaded, and then it will call that overload, and it will keep calling that overload until it gets to a raw pointer. So yeah, I don't think it even mentions it. It'll be in the standard somewhere. So yeah, I guess takeaways from today are: be careful with this. This thing exists. Pretend this doesn't exist. Samples. So. Oh, is there no multi-sampled? Am I just making this up as I go along? Anything good from 23 onwards, not reflection. I mean, reflection is obviously the best. C++. Let's have a look. Let's a quick detour because my brain can't cope with this in the moment. Well, is that why? I'm just wondering why I'm getting the seam through the world all of a sudden. I assumed it because I wasn't. No, you're right. Yes, no, you're right. Sorry, this doesn't make any sense. I've got myself completely distracted. You're right, it doesn't make any sense. That I need to figure out separately what's causing that seam. well, 20. Oh, so 23. Print. Obviously, so std print ln, probably one of the best features of 23. I think CPP-ref literally just went down. It's been really flaky. Okay. What we got? Anything good? Anything? Let's go from 20. Your question was from 23 onwards. So let's go for library. What we got? Stack trace. Big fan. 2 underlying. Cannot wait for that. But no one's. I think this is a lie because no one. I have not been able to use this in any compiler. Oh, so that's 2 underlying. 2. No, sorry, I'm confused with something else. Ignore that. Stack trace, great. Out pointer, pretty good. More ranges stuff, yep. But move only function, so you can now store a unique pointer in a lambda. You can move it. You can now move a unique pointer into a lambda and then store that in a std move only function. Yeah, sorry, I was getting confused with something else. Std dying is great. I wouldn't say if it was like a highlight of 23, but it's still pretty good. Expected, if you're into that, is still pretty good, even if you're not. When we eventually get these, flat map and flat set will be pretty good. More formatting of ranges. Shout if you see anything you like. I'm just skimming through for your benefit. And then in the language features, if const eval, if you're into that. Warning. Good. Static. This is useful in some. These are useful in some specific situations with like generic programming and stuff. But again, I don't think I've really had a massive need to use them. More meaningful exports. Yeah. And then 26. What are we getting in 26? Hashing. You can finally put your std chrono milliseconds as your hash map key. If you're into like low level concurrency primitives, like RCU might be useful. But I'm excited for const expr maths because it means I can make my maths class all const expr then. Yeah, debugging, so you can run time, you can do like std breakpoint. I think there's a couple of other important things in 26. Off the top of my head, I can't think what they are. Optional is now a range. Just saying, optional is a range. In place vector. So this is a cross between a std array and a std vector. So in place vector allows you to set at compile time the capacity, but you can push, but the size is dynamic, so you can push and pop from it up to the compile time size. So it'll be stack allocated. Indirect and polymorphic are pretty cool as well. So those effectively allow you to treat dynamically allocated objects as value types and properly copy them, and especially if they're polymorphic as well. And then what are the big language features? Finally, placeholder variables with no name, so you can use underscore. I think it's always _1, and then the things won't. Tooling shouldn't then complain that they are unused. variadic friends. Oh, there's a really nice structure bindings one where you can unpack a tuple. You can use ... in structure bindings to basically say and the rest of it. There you go. Structure bindings can introduce a pack. Okay. So you can do this, which is quite nice. Oh, yeah, unique clone and stuff like that should go away with stood indirect and stood polymorphic. Yes, we've already covered reflection. Well, as in like I've mentioned it already, and contracts. Yeah, erroneous behavior. I've read through the paper several times. I'm still trying to fully kind of grok what the implication is for me. Where's reflection in all this? Just ignore that. The arguably the biggest feature of the language. Just unless they've got it down as the individual papers, but even then, don't forget about the Oxford variadic comma. Super important. Yeah, I think there's some quite good stuff in coming in 26. Anyway, I digress. I am... Embed is... That went into C first, did it? Did it end up in... Did it end up in C++? Oh, don't forget as well, is it execution control? Assisted execution, which is how you kind of abstract away all the asynchronous stuff. This is a massive paper. This is huge change to the language because it should, in theory, once this has gone in, this should enable networking. Embed, there you go. Okay, cool. I think there's one other thing I wanted to say that had gone in. Trivial infinite loops and undefined behavior. I'm sure there was something else. I'm sure there was something else that was kind of a big deal. Oh. Hive, which is apparently used a lot in game and engine dev, which I didn't realize. It allows efficient reusing of removed elements. So you can remove elements from a list, and then when you put them back in, they'll go back into the free slots rather than effectively expanding the initial storage. I think that's what a Hive is. It is the paper with the most number of revisions. It's got up to 28 revisions. So, yeah, Hive. Anyway. Yeah, I think that's kind of what it's used for. You iterate through it and you skip over the empty slots. When you come to put something in, it will first fill up the empty slots. Yeah. What have I broken? What have I broken? Oh my goodness. Where's all my code gone? Help. Just quit out that, start again, I think. Right. Yeah, my Vim was very unhappy there. Anyway, so I think there's lots of good stuff to look forward to in the language. There's lots of stuff I'm looking forward to playing with. So specifically, are you talking about the C++ feature list? Like, yes, it's a complex language and it only gets more complex, so there is quite a lot to do. I think if you are new to programming, looking kind of in depth at the upcoming features of C++26 is it's probably not a great place to start, and I can understand it being a little bit overwhelming. So why is there a crack in my sky? Because this looks pretty good. Why is... The only other thing is, did I introduce that with MIP maps and I didn't notice? And the anisotropic stuff. Yes, let's... I can't get stash just yet because the last commit doesn't build. So I might have to try and do this experimentally. Just see if that's the issue. It might just be the anisotropic stuff. In which case it might finally be an excuse to have more than one sampler. I will fix that. I'll commit everything. So yeah, so now it looks like grossly blurred again, but okay. Not that. This was already... It's just... Can you remember what this was before? Because I had it set to the wrong thing. Wow, this is a bad time today. So Ninja should automatically use all available cores. I don't think you have to necessarily pass any extra flags to it. It's going to be a little puzzle game. Like, it's going to involve moving these barrels over to like their target positions, but I'm still kind of building out the tech. So the rendering, we've done sound, we've got physics integrated, although it's not really used at the moment. Building out some of the rendering stuff. Okay, fine. So it's that. So it doesn't like... That's fine. That is easy to fix. We will have it so that you can construct a sampler with different flags, and it'll do a thing. Okay, let's commit some of this up because let me just check this works. Okay, so we've got mipmaps, anisotropic filtering, and we've got anti-aliasing and a crack in the sky, but we'll fix afterwards. Okay, so let's look what we got here. How would I change? So create multi-sample textures. Create multi-sample frame buffers. Add OpenGL functions. Integrate MSAA into the renderer. Okay, right, now let's fix. Oh, don't want to do that. Let's fix this. That's let me find his. Oh, I should have a link to this. Someone sent this to me. They composed it and sent it to me. It was very kind of them. Check I'm not leaking all my email addresses live. That'd be fun. Music. Barry Van Oostron, and I almost certainly said that wrong. Let me. He very kindly composed that. And it's good. I like it. It does make the whole thing feel just a little bit more alive, having just even just like one audio track. So I need to create. Basically, I'm going to create my. What am I trying to say? The point of abstraction is to hide away implementation details. So OpenGL has all these options that you can pass to the min filter and the mag filter and the anisotropy and stuff like that. I'm going to create the subset of them that I need, and then that will be my abstraction. So I then don't have to worry about. I don't want my API to take a GL texture min filter as a GL uint. I want to take it as an enum with a subset of supported features, and then we can always add more as needed. So these are enum class filter type. So this will be, we'll call this one linear map, and then we'll also have linear, and then we'll also have nearest. Again, there are more options than that, but those are the only ones that I care about. So when we construct our sampler, we will have a filter type min filter Fitzler. That sounds wrong. Filter type mag filter, and then we'll also have a optional third optional float and what is that? Like, what is it a unit of? Is it a level? Is it cats per mile? GL texture. Is it just anisotropy radius? Anisotropy. Exactly. It could be anything. It just says it's a sampling parameter, which really. Advanced filters makes multiple samples to use an isotrope to set the max sampling parameter. This parameter is floating point and can be anywhere between 1.0f and an implementation to find max anisotropy. Any value greater than 1 counts as use of anisotropy filtering. It just says it's a sampling value. And between the maximum, I might just call it an anisotropy. So it's samples. So anisotropy samples. What are we thinking, team? So this will now need a anonymous namespace. Treat ourselves to, not one of those. Jesus, treat ourselves to one of those, and then we'll have a auto to OpenGL, and then this will take a game filter type. Filter type, and this will return probably a GLU int, I would get, or an enum. GL sampler parameter. I got that one wrong. I spelled that so wrong, even Google couldn't figure out what I was after. Parametry as an enum. GL enum. Yes, I'm going to. Well, technically, it should be it's between 1 and the implementation defined upper limit, which you get via querying for the GL max, whatever. So, yes, it does say that a number below 1 would be considered no anisotropy, but I think having it optional is. I think it's semantically clearer what you're on about, rather than just remembering that 0 is a magic number for not having it. I don't really like using magic numbers like that. Game field type case linear bitmap return GL bitmap linear case linear return GL linear definitely exists. Don't wish Clang D had stopped gaslighting me. And then nearest would be return GL nearest. For that, you're dead to me. I know. Come on, guys. It's literally there. So this then becomes 2 OpenGL min filter, 2 OpenGL mag filter, and then if anisotropy start and anisotropy samples, and I will include utils error, and then we'll just in here we will just expect that anisotropy samples is greater or equal to 1.0f, so invalid samples star anisotropy samples. I'm glad there's someone else here who actually knows what they're talking about. Tokyo, hello. We think we arrived on samples anyway, so. Okay, so now hopefully my main game object now will break because I should be adding. Yeah, looking at the OpenGL docs, it's basically like it says don't just use it says anisotropic is not a substitute for MIP mapping. You should use both to get the best results. So I guess that's guess that's what we're going to do. So the skybox sampler should be what would I call it? Filter type nearest filter type. Nearest. Pretty sure that's right. Like, pretty sure. Oh, man, I don't know what is going on with my Vim today. Oh, Clang D, I suspect. Oh, it's because that should. There you go. And then this will be filter. I suspect this is probably the same for the UI. I can't remember. It was that when we first started it, and it seems okay. So, and then I guess what we want then is the bitmap sampler, and then this should take linear bitmap and linear, and then what do we have? 16.0f. So now it's got to wire up bitmap into everything because we basically just abuse the skybox sampler. I was like, this won't be a problem. Where do I set? Oh goodness. What is this rando sampler? So let's delete that. Put that up here. In fact, actually, let's keep them all together. And then do default. Put those there, and then does this return? I can't remember how my resource cache works now. I assume this returns it. It does. And then we just do sampler. It's an S sampler bitmap GC. No. Yes. Yes. Not that it matters. Okay. So if that blends and runs, and it should all work and coalesce together. I think we just had them as nearest when they worked before, but I can always tweak them in a second. Utils. Oh, just didn't put that in the utils. Throw exception unknown filter type filter type, and what I'll do is and then I need to create a toString method for the filter type, which will basically include the same code anyway. But it's good practice to do it anyway. Do I know any good anti-debugging tricks for game developers? Yes. If you go to this page, It has them all, at least all the Windows. Well, I say all, the most well-known Windows ones are all here. So the time-based attack ones, the debug flags, how to process memory, etc., etc. Go fill your boots. And then sampler, and then what we'll have here is just a wee little inline auto to string filter type string. Keep that in the game namespace. Oh. Yeah, you're welcome. And then I would do this with a macro, but as it's only 3 of them, doesn't really matter. Got really confused for a second there. I was like, what? Just making a fool of myself now. Thanks. Yep, we got there. We got there. Don't worry, guys. We got there. I put them in deliberately for the engagement because I know people are then compelled to type. Okay, so we're anisotropicing, we're mip mapping, and look at that. All of our problems are solved. What a productive day. We've still got suddenly an hour left. I don't know what I thought this was going to take all stream. Do we need to fix these lights? They're not lighting. I mean, it does still look a little bit shite, but it's better than it was. Ugh, what is that? Gross. Just don't look in that corner, or that corner. Just don't look at that. I must constrain the mouse to this as well, because you can't see it, but it's gone off the screen now. Oh, my barrel's escaped. Don't worry about the black textures. It's all part of the plan. Could be some secret Easter egg behind here if you ever manage to no-clip your way out. Just going to check out the other side. Never walked around the side. Exciting. That's pretty good. Yeah, I think Skiller Hide and Titan Hide are pretty good. I'm sure there are techniques that... I think if you want to bypass those, you're going to have to do some novel research. Like, I think they will cover everything that is kind of known, so you'll have to come up with something more novel, I suspect. Okay, so let's just add ability to control sampler settings and integrate sampler changes into game. I'm not really sure what to do now. I honestly thought that was going to take like more hours than it did, but I can definitely cross off bitmaps and AA from my my to-do list. Yep. So we've got level physics. I'm tempted to do SSAO just because I really also don't want to do shadows, and I'm wondering if this might make it a little bit better. Could do light maps. I wasn't planning on doing it. I mean, because we'd have to render out probably we'd have to add multi-target rendering because we'd have to render out screen space normals, I think, and screen space positioning. Let me just look up the article. So I guess I find this not a very compelling example of showing what SSAO is, but you should be able to just see here. There's just a little bit of shadow here. Well, it's not here, and in the depths. But basically, screen space ambient occlusion is a way of approximating ambient light in a scene. So, like nooks and crevices and bits that are kind of semi-occluded all become dark. And then you basically use that as a post-processing effect to darken the scene. So first introducing crisis, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, you need, I mean, this is assuming you've already got a deferred renderer and a G buffer, which I don't. So I would have to create a thin one of these, basically. We need per fragment position data, per fragment normal data, per fragment albedo color, the sample kernel, and a per fragment random rotation vector. And then something maths, something maths. You end up with basically this for a scene. So this is approximating where all the light kind of gets trapped, I guess. And then you post-process it and you blur it. And the idea is that you then apply it over the top, and then you sort of naturally get shadows and a more dynamic looking scene. I really wish they had a render of this without it. It is a non-trivial amount of work. This is definitely several streams, so I don't know if it's worth doing now or whether we want to do something else. Do I have I have fragment lighting, if that's what you mean. Like I just have a forward renderer with point lights, an ambient light, a directional light, and then n point lights. That's per fragment. Bloom I'm really not that fussed about because we haven't really got any bright lights at the moment anyway. This I'm not that fussed about doing now. This one feels like I could go later. We do need to handle full screen. I'm just trying to prioritize I do need to fix the lighting as well. And make game borderless. That kind of goes with handle full screen. And we must do level physics. So level physics is probably the last functional bit to add, and then really everything else is kind of just tarting it up. Yeah, full screen and mouse capture should be quickish. I've had issues doing mouse capture on Windows before, and I think I have to like detect when it goes out and warp it back, but I could be wrong. Oh yeah, sorry, I've got no shadows, and I have implemented shadows in OpenGL before, and I just had a miserable time with it, and they'll always look rubbish, and because then you really need them. Was it PCF shadows, which is more complexity? So I'm not. And then I've only ever done it with directional lights. I've never done it with point lights. So then you have to like render it like 8 ways and then blend it all together. Shadowing is the biggest. I don't know, Harand. I'd be interested in your opinion. I think shadows is the biggest hack in rasterized rendering. You basically render the scene from the point of view of the light, and then use the depth buffer to figure out what can and can't be seen by that light. And then maths. You end up with something that looks absolutely gross, and then you fudge it all again. And eventually you end up with like miserable looking shadows with loads of artifacts. And you just have to keep iterating and applying more and more hacks on it until you kind of get something that looks okay. And then you throw it all away and do something completely, a totally different technique, which I've never done before. So I don't know. I would really like to, if I can get away without it, I will. And then point shadows, you have to render it from 6 ways of the light. SSAO is a big hack. That is true. Tricky. I think I might start doing some of the windowing stuff, just because we got a bit of time now, so it might be worth just trying to get some stuff done without, and then I'll have a think about what I want to do next. I probably should work towards the game, which is level physics, and then everything else is just kind of tarting up from there. Because I generally think once we've got level physics, as in like I can't clip through the walls, and I don't clip through the pillars, and I can't walk out the level, I kind of want it dynamic though. If you've got all those barrels moving around with lights and stuff, I want a dynamic scene. But I also don't want to put the work in for a dynamic scene. So maybe we will end up baking them. We'll see. Unsure. But basically, once we've got the level physics integrated, and by level physics I mean basically player level interaction. We're kind of on the home stretch. It's just tarting it up and actually writing some levels that fit in that new level space. Probably need to make it so the barrels can't clip out of the. That's going to be an interesting mechanic. I hadn't thought about this, what happens when a barrel reaches a wall, because presumably it won't clip through. So that might potentially be a mechanic that we have to account for, because we've only ever tested it in effectively in infinite space. Okay, what's this? Let's take this random link that Quacko's given me, which I'm sure is legit. Sure, there's a lot of Bitcoin mining JavaScript in this link. Set the mouse capture to the specific window belonging to the current thread. Let's read this together rather than me having all the fun. Set capture captures mouse inputs either when the mouse is over the capturing window or when the mouse button was pressed while the mouse was over the capturing window and the button is still down. Only one window at a time can capture the mouse. If the mouse cursor is over a window created by another thread, the system will direct mouse input. By capture, does this just mean it generates events for it though? Only the foreground window can capture the mouse when a background window when the mouse. Let's call this rando window function and see where we get to. I know I need to hide the mouse, which has like a reference count that you can just decrement until you can no longer see it. So I guess after update window where I have the wind, I can just do set capture window. writing my own custom light baking code is probably beyond the scope of what I want to do for this. I think SSAO or just a simple shadow pass is probably the right answer, just to give a little bit of realism to it. So like, you can't see this, but the mouse. So I can no longer move the window, but I sure can escape it. I think I want like lock window to lock cursor to window. Clip cursor? That might be what I want. Confines the cursor to a rectangle area on the screen. If subsequent cursor positions lies outside the rectangle, the system automatically adjusts the position to keep the cursor inside the rectangle area. I think this is what I want. Do I have, if I created a rect somewhere with all this in, is this the real window or is this the fake window? Here you go. Clip cursor. Rect. Oh no. Okay. Yes. I've not updated it since it's moved, and my mouse is now stuck in the, you can't see it, it's now stuck in the top left of my screen. The exact size of this window, but in the wrong place. I don't know the answer to any of these questions. I think I need to try it out for myself. I'm surprised that's... Why has that not worked? Yeah, but like... Yeah, I think I know what I just need to do is there like... Oh, how do I get the rect from the window? Because then I should, every time the window moves, get window rect, obviously. Window rect. Is it client rect? Oh no, this looks pretty good. This is definitely I'm gonna get rid of the title bar eventually anyway, but I think this is definitely, so if I hold it off, do I just keep spinning? I do. Nice. So if I move the window now, I've lost, it's, oh, interesting, it's unclipped it. So I need to, there's like a WM move, is there? I'm not going to do resizing. Because I feel that's just should be an option somewhere where you can just change the resolution. I don't want to support arbitrary like changes. That sounds like a nightmare. So I was just going to disable that. Like the window is just the size, and we need to figure out full screen as well. Move. Do I get the handle in the message, don't I? So I should be able to just do, I get wind. So I should be able to do auto rect equals rect, get window rect hwind rect, and then clip cursor rect. Interesting. Okay, that might be a way of doing it as well. I'm figuring a lot of this out as I go along. So that's pretty. So if I move this over, interesting. It is not re-clipping it, but is that just? There's also this. The skybox, that's just a free asset from learnopengl.com. Okay, so we're locked. Moving this. Interesting. Fascinating. Am I just not getting this message, or am I just fundamentally not doing it right? Interesting. Why is... I mean, it looks like it's updating it, like roughly in line with what I expected. I move it over here. Clip cursor, does this return? Let's do game ensure equals one of my favorite parts of MSD in this. Bool. If the function succeeds, the return value is non-zero. Ensure this doesn't equal 0. Fail to clip cursor. Yes, I did use a skybox. Like I said, if you go to learnopengl.com, it's just, if you in their skybox tutorial, it's the asset from there, and some heavily influenced by the code as well. Okay. You can't... Rude. Tell me you've passed when you've clearly not. clip cursor not working after window move. We could just warp it to the center every time. Apparently it has issues with multi-monitor setup, which I do have. Okay, I wonder if the correct answer then is just every frame just to warp it to the center, because we get the mouse delta anyway. Win32 set mouse set cursor pod. So I wonder if we can just after we swap, which I guess we kind of, it's a bit of an abuse, but we know at the end of the frame, this will be the end of the frame. Just want to see if that works. Is that relative to the screen or is that relative to the window? Okay. I don't know. We'll find out. Oh, it's freaking out, but it is definitely so this seems to work. Yeah, it's window. It's right. It's it's clipped to the window because you can't see it, but it's freaking out in the top left of my thing. So let's just quit that. So I think what we want to do is take this, stick this here. Get rid of this, 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 and then do set cursor pos rect dot left plus width over 2, and then rect dot top plus height over 2, I think. Get client rect. Ah, nice. I still think so what does that return? Though, retrieves the coordinates of Windows client area. I want then like set window. I want to set the cursor to the window. Okay, fine. I don't think I need that for the moment there. Let me just see if this works. Ah, yes. Can't see the cursor at all now. Oh, it's stuck at the top. I've obviously got it's definitely halfway through. I've got the probably needs... And then we just hide the cursor, and then bish bash bosh, done. Okay, so then we go to, I think it's just hide cursor, if I remember correctly. Nope. Show, oh, it's show cursor. False. Show cursor. False. Oh, it's looking good. Nice. If I move it really fast, though, I can just see it pop out the side. Sorry, this is going to look gross, but... I don't think that's the end of the world, though. It's starting to feel like a game now. It's boring. Might fix the bug as well quickly, where if you look up too much, it wraps around. That's got to be clamping the yaw pitch. 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 Yeah, so to clamp. Pitch, all stirred, clamp. What are the arguments? It's pitch minus no, was it 0.0 f2 stirred numbers pi v float. Could you clip it to prevent? What do you mean by clip it? Yeah, because I guess we could clip it because we won't be able to move the window. Thinking about it, because we would have lost the mouse cursor. So I guess actually clipping it might work as well. Let me just see if this works. Maybe we just do both. Yeah. I think we might need to just do both, and then we don't have to worry about it. I've never done stencil shadows, so I couldn't possibly have an opinion on it. I think they might need to go a little bit lower than 0. I think 0 is here, so I want it between minus pi over 2 and pi, or minus pi over 2 and pi over 2. got there in the end. Yes, you might be right. Oh, I think it needs to be just a little bit less. Yeah. Minus some small epsilon. Wasn't even on my list to fix that. Yeah, I even knew that in my head. I was like, I must remember to minus it. And then I just didn't. There we go. Now we're gaming. What is going on with this lighting? I think we might fix that next. Because I'm kind of putting off doing the level physics. Okay. Cool and the gang. Let's do... Oh, we said we were going to clip that window as well, didn't we? Just to... we're going to do... Get window rect. Window rect. Clip cursor rect. Productive day. Quashed loads of bugs. Yeah, can't see that cursor anywhere. Alright, this is gonna be a little bit eye bleedy, apologise. Nailed it. Quite slow to... Did that crash when I quit? It did, didn't it? What is... God damn it. Nothing's ever easy, is it? Oh, non-deterministic crash at the end. Oh, isn't that fun? Unprocessed messages and the wiggling mouse. Possibly. Give it. Oh, it did it then though, didn't it? I just... So let me just fill up the buffer with loads of events and quickly quit it. Oh, you might be onto a winner here. I can't take my mouse off the window because it disappears. Oh, sound. Oh. Have I got to somehow stop the sound before I just sort of pull the rug out from under its feet? I'm just guessing, by the way. I've like absolutely zero like guilty knowledge on that. That is just a pure guess. Didn't crash that time. I'll wiggle the mouse wildly because that I think that was a correlation, not a cause, but I'm gonna call that fixed. So let's go fix camera pitch bug, lock cursor to window, stop sound before exit. Productive day, stream 76. Put that in the GitHub. I will do a build and a release now. No, I won't. I'll bump the version. To commit bump version. I will then update the tag. Yes, stick that in the Git hole. Quit out of this. Minimize that. Stop the oops, steady. Hey? Oh, I've got into release, that's why. Oh. Yes, you're probably right. Okay, let's get that a building while I embiggen myself. Cool. Productive day today. Fixed. We finished off anti-aliasing. We fixed a sampling bug, like a bitmap bug that I didn't know we had. We fixed the pitch bug, which I did know we had. We fixed the audio bug, which I didn't know we had, and then we locked the cursor to the window, which I knew we wanted. So let me just cross off my list then. Nothing extra because I had none of those written down. Great. Okay, productive. I think for Sunday, I'm undecided. Do we want to do level physics or do we want to fix the lighting? I think those are the next two big things. I'm going to defer SSAO. That is polish as far as I'm concerned, but I think the lighting itself being broken is not polish, and I think the fact that we can clip through the walls is not. I don't know which one we're going to do. Might do level physics because probably the one I want to do the least because it's been a while since we've looked at all the Jolt code, so I think I might just eat the frog and get that done. Yeah. I'm also undecided exactly how it's going to work. I'm hoping in Bullet, you can give Bullet an arbitrary mesh and then it will generate an efficient collision shape around it. So I'm hoping we can do the same thing with Jolt and then we just slap a capsule on us, which we already have support for, and then just write a small character controller. So I think we'll probably do that on Sunday. I'm hoping we get that done on Sunday. I just had a message from Discord notification that I'm now live, which is ironic because I'm about to not be live. I have nothing in the way to offer in terms of freebies. I'm spent, I'm afraid, but I will hang around on Discord for a bit. I'm currently editing the next video. I'm hoping to have that out done by the end of the week. It is based on the community challenge, so I guess kind of people who've been around on Discord will know what the game is and the outcome, but it was a huge success. I think that's all I've got. I will catch you all Sunday. Thank you very much. See you then.